Well, it's that time of the week again, Derek. It's
It
happy
is.
hour.
It
Wait,
is
wait, wait.
happy
Did you
hour.
just have a?
Don't worry about it.
Uh, okay. I that definitely caught me off guard. I know it's been a bad morning, and you said we weren't going to talk about it, but now I don't
You're the
know
one
what to
talking
do with
about
my
it.
hands. I
I
don't.
just have a knife. You're the one talking about things you're not supposed to talk about. I'll leave.
All right. Well, don't leave. But if you do see Derek leave, it is because his internet is worse than it has ever been. But you'll be in and out
Yeah.
potentially.
Hopefully we make it through most of this before I drop. But so far in the load up and the prep, I've dropped twice so far. So we'll see.
Yep.
Um, luck's not on the side. Nope. But just been a day of football. Glad to be back at happy hour and talk about the WFA and all
It's
of these exciting playoff teams.
it's playoff time.
It
You're
is the
right.
playoffs.
Uh, Four teams have punched their tickets into the playoffs. We've got several who are going to be sitting on the sideline, watching the fun, and I think that it's going to shape up to be a real exciting time these next few weeks.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think playoffs brings the best out of everyone, including the coaches, the game planning. A lot of, a lot of games, a lot of matchups that are maybe revenge, that are going to have some revenge to them based on how the season played out. I mean, playoffs is a great time.
Yep, I agree with you. Well, before we jump into it, it is happy hours. Want to make sure you do have a drink on hand for tonight, right, Derek? Ah, Coke Zero. Lovely. Lovely. It doesn't get any more dull than that.
Hey.
If I do remember right, I think I saw a 9:30 a.m. picture of a blackberry White Claw
Yeah, you're right. It's
and
been a long
pancakes.
day. And pancakes. There's
So,
coffee there too.
okay. Well, I thought
I'm
it was.
I'm the roller coaster. We were up there for a while today. Now we're coming back down. And what that just
Understood.
means for me and the audience is you have to drink enough for the both of us.
Yep. So pull up your bar stool, buckle in. We're going to get started off here. I do know the Jets are playing right now, which probably means Jake will not be available for trivia tonight.
That game should be over with.
Okay.
He
Well,
might still
if
be.
he
They
might
actually
hop in.
won. He should be in a great mood. They actually won. Last minute fumble recovery for a touchdown on the Denver's final drive.
Oh, wow.
So they ended up winning by 10.
Oh, wow. Well,
So,
hopefully, Jake, the Rise commissioner, will get us some trivia going tonight. We'll have to see about that. But let's go ahead and jump into some recaps for what we've had for these play-in games. Let's start with the first one this week. This is Wyoming at Miami. Wyoming pulled the upset in Miami 21-13, Derek.
Yeah, and if you didn't know how the teams performed going into the season before this game, you wouldn't have thought it was an upset. Wyoming dominated every aspect of this game, from passing to rushing, even on the turnover battle, but it was all Wyoming. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they ever worried about it.
Miami was super inefficient on offense. 25 yards rushing for the Nightmares is awful. And I mean, I'm going to say, with as deep as their wide receiver core goes, they only had 72 yards passing.
You ain't going to win a game like that.
No, very underwhelming. Tough loss, tough end of the season for the Nightmares. So Wyoming goes into their playoff spot for season 10 with that victory. Next up, the second out of 4 games was Des Moines at New Jersey, Derek.
This one was an intense back and forth affair, and honestly, a heartbreaker for New Jersey and the Mustangs, because it's not often that you have a team win both the rushing battle and the turnover battle and still lose. And frankly, passing was, I will call, a wash, only a 30-yard difference. I mean, typically when you look at the stats of both teams, you would think all things, if I didn't know the score, would be New Jersey on top.
Yeah.
But as you're aware, Corn Kings made the most of some turnovers, and New Jersey didn't.
I mean, hats off to the Corn Kings and the Corn Man himself. He's with us tonight. I've always said, Derek, if you score 30 points, you have to win. And New Jersey scored 30 points, and the Corn Kings still pulled off the victory. So that's impressive. That's hard to do. I don't know if you saw, but quarterback Colin Pierce was benched for this game to give the opportunity to McTerry, who
I think they found their starter moving forward.
Yeah, love that. Hopefully Hugo Zachary's healing well. This has been 2 seasons in a row that he's had to watch most of the Corn Kings and his other team go from the sidelines.
He's been around a long time, and it might be, and I know a lot of the league isn't going to like what I'm about to say, it might be time to let him go on to greener pastures. The injury bugs, seems to be a consistent thing. He's been around the league a long time. Is it a waste of a roster spot? Or maybe, if what I'll say is maybe he's better suited to be a backup at this point in time in his career and not the dependable piece.
He said it, folks.
He
said it, not me.
When you get up in age, the skills, your availability, the rest of your ability start to fall. You're not in your prime anymore.
Trust me, I know that's true.
Yeah, so
I hung up a simulated golf bay this weekend, and I'm hurting all over from hanging net. Anyways, the third out of 4 games was DC Tribe at Chicago. The Ghosts win 27-13.
I mean, it just simply goes the Ghosts #Ghosts don't suck, at least for this game. When you have 0 turnovers and the other team has 4, you're bound to win. Ghosts came out. I think the experience showed. I mean, solid job for DC to be in it, especially given how their year started. So to be in the play-in game as it is a testament to the job they did. I think you can't have 4 turnovers and the other team have none and expect to win.
Yeah, Chicago was one of only 2 teams to not have any turnovers this week. So, and that earns them a victory and a playoff spot next week. And the last 2 teams to play was the Indiana Lynx in their hopes to clinch a playoff spot against the Calgary Crash.
Well, they used the Link as a crash test dummy in this game because that was a beating. You wouldn't think so looking at passing stats, but everything else, I mean, Crash better third down conversion rate, no turnovers, ran the ball better. I mean, they did work. Crash making Canada proud.
I like that. Yeah. Indiana seemed to be on a roll the last couple of weeks with Art Vandelay coming off his injury, getting out on the field, was looking pretty solid. But Ernest McCray, man, got his shit together, pumped up his team, and made the right calls. And I mean, a dominant victory, 45-13.
Yeah,
that's impressive. A way to go, Ernest.
Good
so
job.
Those were the 4 games that we're considering the play-in games to the playoffs. Let's go ahead and switch over to our playoff bracket, where we will talk a little bit about the most improved teams per request of Bill Cherry.
Not a problem.
All right. This is the playoff bracket.
Pretty nice.
It does look good, doesn't it? So, what do you see here? We're not going to talk a lot about the playoffs right now. What we want to talk about is what are some teams compared to season 9 that you feel like have improved the most, who are here in this current playoff bracket?
If I have 2, do you want me to say one and give you an opportunity, or can I talk about both of them?
Yeah, give me an opportunity.
Well, I think it had. Well, I'll go ahead. And compared to season 9, seeing they were non-existent, the one that sticks out obviously is a Crash. To be an expansion team and be in the playoffs first season, I mean, you are literally building from nothing. You are coming in and putting in work, you know, figuring out things for the expansion draft, figuring out a lot of rookies and other things like that, and they made it work. So he came in and did work. Crash stick out biggest for like most improved, and at least out of the ones that I'll share right now to give you a chance.
I like that. I hadn't considered them being an expansion team and making the playoffs. It is interesting. When you said that, I was looking at the teams here. They are going to be playing the only other expansion team this season in the first round of the playoffs, that being the Dayton Aviators. That should be a really fun game to watch, considering that point. When I look at this, what stands out the most is a team that used to be this dull green and charcoal color and is now a light blue and gold. The Long Beach Rays.
That was my second one. I'm glad I let you talk.
The Long Beach Rays have really flipped the script in a positive way.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to being in Detroit. Again, hats off to Stephon Forge and his management of the Rays. I feel like he's done a great job. He's been active in the server. He updates his playbook when necessary, and it shows. And he's reaping the benefits of that, Derek. So definitely my vote goes to him.
I think if we all moved to the beach, got a little bit of extra sunlight and the water on our toes here, being able to put them in the sand, we'd probably all benefit and be better off. Long Beach has to be better than Detroit. So
you go, or we could just get our toes in the river that Scott wants to float down. Either way, we're going to get our toes wet eventually with a WFA con or whatever we're going to call it. Let's get that started up again.
Yeah, all right. Call it the shit show because that'll be exactly what it is.
We're going to come back to this playoff bracket momentarily as we discuss our top four. But first, Derek, it's been a while since we played some bar games.
Yeah.
We've played pretty much everything except for one particular game.
Okay.
Quarters. I'm going to move myself over.
A college specialty of mine.
Can
I tell the people how I whooped you in darts last weekend?
Well,
in real life.
Looks like we're going to lose Derek, so I'll finish his story for him while he jumps back in here. He's back. He's back. Okay.
Oh, so yeah, in real life, to be fair, Colin beat me when it counted, when we had something on the line, but I was on fire.
There is a place that we go to on Marshall University's campus. It was homecoming weekend this past weekend.
It was.
So I spent the weekend with my good friend Derek, and we go to our favorite bar that has happy hour from 4 to 6. And they also have darts. So you did kick my butt the first round, but when there was a stanky shot of tequila for the loser, and I mean bottom shelf.
Just said tequila, didn't even have a name.
It's just written in Sharpie, tequila on the bottle. That's when I stepped up to play. But you did beat me in darts. You did. How was it?
I mean, it tasted like ashtray cleaning water. So, perfect.
Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to bring all these up here.
Oh, I see.
I didn't mean to get all these quarters out on the table. I need to clean these guys up. I'm trying to... Oh, gosh, I dropped all my quarters on the table. What am I going to do?
Well, this is awkward.
Well, we have 16 quarters that we're going to be shooting into this cup. Oh, gosh. This is left over from when we were doing the bracket last week.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm doing my best to pick all of this up.
Don't look at our mess. Sorry.
This is awful. Jeez. Okay, let's get the Prow out of the cup here. There we go. Let's get Vermont out of the cup. Okay, let's get the Wastelanders out of the cup. This is humiliating. I'm so sorry, everyone. Let's get them out of the cup. And let's get the Aviators out of The cup. All right. So for those who have not played quarters, Derek, would you care to explain what we're doing here?
Yeah. Typically in quarters, if you've never played, you take a quarter and the objective is to bounce it off the table, some form or fashion, and bounce it into the cup. And you do it, and then the next guy tries to match you. If they fail, there's typically some sort of repercussion. I think for this one, we will be, if I'm not mistaken, bouncing teams off the table into the cup, and they go in if we think they're going to win their first round matchup, correct?
Correct. That's what we're doing.
It's like a confidence quarters, if you will, of some sort. I like it.
Yes. Is everybody on here who needs to be on here? How many do we have? 1, 2,
What I
3,
can
4,
tell.
5, 6. Yes, I think we're good. Okay. Well, do you want to just pick your own quarter here, Derek? Or do you want me to pick it for you?
You give me. How about this? I'll pick your quarter. You pick mine.
All right. Good deal. I'm going to give you the first quarter here. This is the Wastelanders.
And they have drawn.
They will be playing Des Moines Corn Kings.
Ooh. So I'm rearing back. I'm taking this quarter, looking nice and shiny. My Wastelanders quarter. Oh, this is an easy bounce. Kind of hits the rim, but it's falling in. Because I think it's another close one. But Chad has his team ready to play. It shows in his seating. I think he moves forward past the Corn Kings.
I like it. That seems fair.
I'm actually going to send you the Steamers.
The Louisiana Steamers play the Pottsville Maroons at home, or at Pottsville. I have a feeling that this is going to be a nail biter. If Martin, however you say his last name, it's Russian. If he can run like we know he can, then the Maroons are going to go home with the victory. I think Dave gets his shit together. Louisiana hits off the rim, bounces off. They're not in the cup.
Got it. I like it. Who's my next one?
All right, I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you the Cavalry.
Ooh. They looked good in the play-in, but this one I'm bouncing, overshoot the cup, miss completely.
Okay.
The Bull Moose are a scary team. I think they go in with the best of intentions, but the Cavalry miss.
I agree. I'm adding the other quarters in there for the opposite teams.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, then I'm going to give you the Stingers.
Oh, gosh.
We talked about this one off air.
Yeah.
I think you got a good thoughts on this one.
Yeah, the Stingers are going to play the Jackson Crabs in the first round of the playoffs, which is also the same game that was played week 12, where the Stingers lost. I think this is going to be a really good game to watch. I think it's going to be close. I definitely feel like the Crabs are favored. However, I think that Randy Pierce gets things back on track. Jaga Bettis plays well, and Mason Jackson steps up and plays like the QB1 that Randy always wanted him to be when he chose him over Hugo. I think that this is a sinker. And I think the Stingers move forward in the playoffs.
Did not see that one coming. I think it could be good. Man.
We've talked about him a little bit this morning, Derek.
I know we have. And both, it can go either way. That's going to be probably the best game of the weekend.
It'll be a good game. Let me give you the Rays.
Oh.
The Rays play Green Bay.
Okay. So, you've got history. It's like the old head versus the young up and comer. You got like I said, what we're deeming the most improved. All I see is your background now. Okay, Boast improved team, like we just talked about, turned it around from their first season of coaching in Detroit, moving into Long Beach, versus Jake, who had in the Wolfpack been around since pretty much the beginning. Been a lot. They've won a lot, but they've also lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be closer than what Jake would like it to be. And I do give the Rays out of the I give him a chance to upset, but I don't think it happens. I think this is a rims around and just falls out, but barely. And I think the Wolfpack pull this one off. But this is no shot to Forge in the work he's done, because the playoff success and in Gen Bowls, it's made crazy things happen in Green Bay. So I could see Jake also losing on a last minute Hail Mary or some stunning fumble recovery for a touchdown, like safety in the end zone. But I do think that high powered offense of the Wolfpack becomes a little hard.
They've been turning it on lately. I think you're accurate.
All just right. Because I don't want to do it, I'm gonna give you the prowl, and don't be you don't have to be nice.
Okay. Oh gosh, who do you play? You play the Ghosts. It seems on paper that the Prowl is the outstanding favorite. Yeah. And I don't know how much effort behind the scenes that Logan is putting in, but I hope it's a bit, because I would love to see this be a close game. No offense to you. No offense to you. I want to see it be a close game. I think it can be. I think the Prowl have shown that they have weaknesses, and that they aren't the team that we thought they were at the first part of the season. Yep. They've been spotty lately. They're still good. When they're hot, nobody in the league can beat them. But can they get it together? I think the Ghosts shake them up just enough that they get back on track and they make a run for the Gen Bowl. I think the Prowl win their first playoff game.
All I will say is I don't take anything for granted. Logan's been around a long time and knows a lot of things. Yeah. And definitely not a team we're taking lightly.
Definitely not. Let me give you the Dayton Aviators.
So we talked about this at the beginning. The battle of the two expansion teams, year one teams. Crash coming off an absolute melee butt whooping in the play-in. There are theorists out there, football theorists, that say every team's only allotted so many points per season. And did they spend too many in the play-in game? Like, have they used up all the playoff magic just to get here? I wouldn't say that's necessarily the case, but I will still probably, we're going to bounce this off. And, this is no disrespect to Calgary or anyone up there, but I think it's Dayton. Dayton's had a good team. Still looking back at the.
It's like we might be losing Derek, but I hear what he's saying. There he is. I think he's back with his lips pursed together. You're back.
I didn't know I froze. My bad, everyone. What I was saying is, this is no offense to Calgary, the staff, the team, but I think Dayton pulls this off. Going back to the draft, I think Dayton had the best draft of anyone, and I think their production of their players and their rookies specifically have shown, like, they got some real winners. That's going to be a tough game. It could go either way, but maybe they just spent too much effort to get to the playoffs. I think the Calgary run out of gas.
I like it. Okay. That leaves us our last game. Which team do you want to give me?
I'm going to give you the Whales.
All right. Let's talk about the Whales and the Federals. Something that may be overlooked by most is the fact that the Whales will be starting back with Jake Blanchard, who is coming off of his torn calf injury. This will be his first game back. The Whales have still been super competitive with like their third string running back. I think Jake Blanchard got hurt, and then the second string got hurt, and they've just been through it, but they're still doing really well. I think the Federals are going to have a hard time keeping up in Boston. They're not going to have the home cooking that they're used to. No offense to Nolan, but it's going to be a tough game in Boston. Wales are going to be back with everybody on their roster. I think the Whales win this handedly, Derek.
That's to come back and get your starting running back right in time for the playoffs. That's a huge lift, both morale and just team talent.
Yeah. Quarterback Tyler Roush has shown that he is not very reliable in high-pressure situations, and this is going to be the highest pressure that the Federals have felt all season. So I suspect that it won't be pretty in Boston.
Okay.
That was a fun game of quarters, man.
Not bad. I think we got a solid group of quarters, and just like in the playoffs, just like quarters, one wrong bounce changes everything. So if nothing else, you teams who might find themselves outside the cup right now, use it as motivation. Bring your best. Unless you're a team from Chicago, then don't bring your best. Please.
Stay home and eat those. Eat that Cheeto popcorn. That's like $3 now.
Go have a big old deep dish pizza and just skip this game. Please, thanks.
Well, let's talk about something else here on the next screen, Derek. Let me see if I can get us over there in 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, we're here.
I'm not sure if people know this about us, but you and I, we dabble a little bit in the sports betting world.
We do. I won some and lost more.
Right. I understand that. I'm sure that's par for the course. But we've never really talked about betting on the WFA.
Well, I don't like to mix business and pleasure.
Well, we're going to mix it today, whether you like it or not, because Derek and I have put together a massive parlay for the first round of playoffs that we feel very confident about.
Yeah, we tried to submit this to our bookie. He wasn't going to take it.
No, he said the odds were too big. And we don't think they're that big. They're only 420 to 1. But let's go ahead and bring this up and talk about each of our legs that we have riding on next week and see what everybody in the chat thinks. I love this ticket, Derek. I'm so proud of this. It looks so good. It looks so good. So we have an 8-leg parlay where $100 is going to pay out $42,000.
All proceeds go to the league, right?
Right. Based on the current odds for the WFA Sportsbook app. But basically what I've done here is we've taken 4 games, 2 legs each game. And so let's just kind of talk about that. Let's talk about the first game we have here, which is Charleston at Boston. Federals versus the Whales. We have Boston winning outright. Money line pays minus 200. So they're a 1 to 2 odds, or 2 to 1 odds.
That's correct.
2 to 1 odds. There was also a prop bet. I'm not sure if everybody saw when they were looking at the app, but the prop bet is Tyler Roush to throw over or under 2.5 interceptions, and we feel confident that there's going to be 3 or more interceptions in this game.
I mean, he has been known to throw a few, so he's a gunslinger by trade, and with that comes the possibility of interceptions. Boston has been a pretty solid defensive team. Seems like a safe pick to me.
Yeah. I think so too. Let's go straight down to the Rays versus the Wolfpack. We have Wolfpack covering the spread. Spread currently sets at 9.5. And we also have quarterback for the Rays, Davis, getting sacked 4 or more times. I don't know if you've seen that D line for Green Bay, but it's pretty nasty.
I've seen it. It's a good D line. This 9.5 was a little big, but again, Wolfpack have turned it on recently, and I think they could cover that spread. I feel good. That's another one I feel good about.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's head back up to the top right. Louisiana Steamers at the Pottsville Maroons. We have the Maroons covering a 6.5-point spread, and we talked about it earlier.
Radicevic.
Oof. To get 100 yards. Is he going to do it, Derek?
And see,
that's the one.
This is one of the 2 picks that I am the least confident in.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Steamers are a good team. They know the Maroons lay heavily on the run. They're run first. They use the run to open the pass. So do they stack the box and dare the Maroons quarterback to beat them through the air? Probably. Now, he's probably also good enough to get that 100 yards. But can I see this happening? Yes. Does the second part of that single leg worry me the most? Yes.
Yeah, but this is my least confident leg.
High risk, high reward on this one. Scared money don't make money.
That's what I've heard. And, running back for the Maroons has been underwhelming the last few weeks, but I feel like the changes that the coaches will make for playoffs, specifically involving the run game, will be a difference maker. I feel like the Maroons have a breakout game here, and we get 100 yards rushing. So I feel like that's going to hit. Last game that we have here on our massive parlay, we have the Stingers, who are considered the underdog going against Jackson. We have Stingers winning outright, and we have tight end Grandacious anytime touchdown. Derek, what do you have to say about that right there?
Anytime touchdowns make me nervous. I have one good amount of money. I actually remember one of my anytime touchdowns hitting while sitting on your couch having Thanksgiving dinner for a Chicago Bears one year hitting. So that's a good way to make money. But also, every time you think you're going to bet on a sure thing touchdown, it never comes. So this is probably the pick that I'm second least confident about, because predicting touchdown scores is always a tricky thing. But yeah. And also the Stingers upset too. It's going to be a tough one. This is a high money ticket. Leg.
It is. I mean, the odds are set right. These are the literal odds, Derek. I went and I got on another sports betting app and clicked on the exact odds for other games to get me the total odds for this ticket. So this is what this ticket would pay if it were real. Okay? This is the real odds. And I like Grandacious. I personally feel like Dacious is one of the best, if not the best, bronze tight end in the league right now.
He is pretty solid, and they use him well.
I like him.
Like you said earlier, you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. Mama didn't raise no bitch, and that's why we're making these bets.
That's right. And we got a Benji on this bet. Speaking of Benjis, your tight end ready for next week?
Oh, born ready.
I love it. Benji Vanderhuge.
He's gonna have a huge game, some say.
I should have looked up the money line on him to score 2 or more touchdowns.
Because that's not what you want to see.
Oh, I know you don't like betting on your own teams, but
I don't do it. Well, it's ever since him and Mr. Roosevelt share it, but Ryan's been getting into the groove a little bit more, so the 2.5 might be a little high. I wish it'll happen, but we don't know. Yeah. You never know.
Well, that's what we call Colin and Derek's lock of the week.
Yeah, lock
right
it
there.
In. Put your money where your mouth is.
That's right. let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the Rise League,
Oh,
Derek.
Zach wants 200 on the ticket.
He likes it.
Down. He likes it. He's feeling it.
He likes it. Very good.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I like, Derek. I like what the Rise League is prepping for right now.
It's gonna be a season.
We've got 8 teams compared to 6 last season. I feel really, really good about what Jake and Jack P are suiting up to take care of next season for the Rise League. They did give me a few updates. That's what I want to touch on tonight.
Breaking news, everyone. You're hearing it first here on Happy Hour.
Yep, that's right. So Jake told me that the first thing to happen is that they will wait and see who the WFA decides to cut franchise-wise, because for those who do not know, the league will be dropping from 24 teams down to 16 teams. So there will be 8 teams that will either be merging with another team or being dissolved completely. They're waiting to see what individuals that affects first, which I think is smart. I'm glad they're waiting for that. And then what they are going to be doing is they're going to be sending out applications. 2 different kinds of applications, Derek. The first is applications for being a coach for one of these 8 Rise teams.
Okay.
And also mentorship applications for those willing to mentor and bring up these young coaches who are interested in the WFA, interested in learning the playbooks, and just making the league more competitive and more knowledgeable so that we can compete, So I really like that. Jake said that we should expect these applications to go out in about 1 to 2 weeks from today.
I like it.
So, and then after the applications are brought in and the coaches along with their mentors are selected, there will be a draft for the Rise League prospects. They will be drafted to their teams. So, another cool, exciting event for us to do for the WFA. So,
I like it.
Very good. Anything to add to the Rise League, Derek?
No, it looks out to be an exciting season. I encourage anyone who's interested, who wants to give coaching a try. I mean, the Rise League's a good place to start. Get your feet wet with it. I remember when we got our start back with the Fury. Good times.
That was with the Phoenix Fighters.
Oh, the Fighters. That's what it was, not Fury. Sorry, wrong F word.
Phoenix
it's been
Fighters.
So long. I'm so old.
Yeah.
Losing my mind. It was the Fighters. Yeah.
You're so old.
That was something.
Yes, that was a good time. But yeah, I mean, mentorship is important because with this game, I mean, there's a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. And it'll be good to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, kind of keep you in between the lines so that you can be competitive and help bring up this new generation of players into Season 11. So,
exactly.
Very good. All right. What we're going to do next here, folks, is we are going to go ahead and open up the bar. This is Open Bar, where we are going to give folks an opportunity to send in questions here on YouTube Live or any sort of topic you'd like for Derek and I to discuss. We finished this in about 40 minutes, Derek, this episode, so I'd say we got about 15 to 20 minutes to answer any questions or shoot the shit with folks here. So if you see anything, let me know. But otherwise, can you tell me what Santa Fe's doing in preparation for the Ghosts?
Yeah, we're currently, I have been really trying to get into the psyche of the Ghosts. Yesterday after practice, I ordered like 5 dozen Chicago-style hot dogs, really trying to understand who they are as a team, what makes them tick.
60 hot dogs.
So, we're eating them, trying to understand where they come from. But
that's awesome.
And, on top of that,
does it have that little banana pepper on it?
It does, with a slice of tomato as well. A lot of the guys were confused, but I think we understand our foes a little bit better right now.
I love that.
Currently, we're also changing out the uh, the locker room furniture in the away locker room to be the most uncomfortable shit I can find on the side of the road. Because we want nothing. I've also broken the air conditioner in there, so good luck.
Well, let's go ahead and answer this first question that came in. This is from Zach. He wants to know who we think is going to win the Gin Bowl. Derek.
Man.
He just comes out and says it.
He really does. Odds on favorite. Like, if you want my gut feeling, and I'm too hard on myself, so I'm not going to say me if that's what you people are wanting me to do. I'm leaning towards, and I think the odds on Vegas favorite are the Bull Moose right now, and I hate it.
Ooh. Bull Moose are number 1 seed. I mean, that's the odds. The odds are in the Bull Moose favor. I'm looking through the list here. It's so hard to win as an away team, especially during playoffs when the crowd's hyped. And the teams at home got a good night's sleep not too far from their own stadium. But I think, and Derek's not going to like it because I'm bragging on him. I think the Prowl. I think the Prowl's going to carry that home field advantage all the way to the Gin Bowl, and it's going to come down to the last game. I think the Prowl. Derek, I know you got it in you, bro.
Well, thank you.
I know you got it in you. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this out right now for everybody listening. I have had zero help with any of this season. For those who believe it or not, Derek has been doing this 110%. It's all on Derek.
We've had some heated conversations, not for help, but me opposing a lot of what was going on. I didn't want any of the playbook changes. Derek
disagrees with a lot of the competitive changes we've made for the playoffs. He's just going to have to get over that. It's good for you. But my pick is the Prowl. I think that Derek does me good, and he keeps our lineage going.
Let's hope it's hard to beat a team twice in one season, because last time I met up with the Bull Moose, they stomped on my face.
I'd love to see Bull Moose and Prowl. Speaking of Bull Moose, the second question that has come through is Jack P. asking me personally, am I happy with what he has done with Vermont this season after taking over my team, which was the Montreal Berserkers, arguably the best team in WFA history?
Yeah, it's real easy to be the number 1 seed when you're gifted the greatest thing since sliced bread.
But listen, he has done. I'm going to just come out and say it right off the bat. Jack P., I'm very proud of what you've done with my team. You are the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. How could I not be proud of what you've done? You are the top dog right now. I wasn't sure at the beginning of the season. We had a rocky start, but you've followed through in this long 12-week season. You're the number 1 seed. You're going to have home field advantage in the great country of Canada, all the way through to the Gin Bowl.
Is that where the Gin Bowl's at? Where's the Gin Bowl held this year?
Wait, he's not in Canada.
No, he's in
the
Vermont.
United States of America.
He's in Vermont. It's for lovers.
Oh yeah. See, I still get confused. No, I think the Gin Bowl's in Mongolia.
It is. That is correct. It's in Mongolia.
Yeah, it's in Mongolia. It's better that way. Yeah, for some reason we thought that was a wonderful idea.
We really gotta, whoever's booking these venues, we really gotta work on this.
Oh gosh.
We gotta talk to
Jack
our,
P. I'm happy with what you've done.
Our PR people or something.
That's awesome.
I know we're like behind the NFL and some other leagues, but Mongolia, we got to work on it.
I mean, there's so many options. We picked Mongolia. It's okay. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and encourage more questions, more topics to come in. As I ask you, Derek, if you haven't already, I want you to go back into one of our secret chats in the WFA, and I want you to look at a new recent team rebranding and tell me what you think. It's actually in Gen Chat. It's in Gen Chat. There's a video. I want you to look at it, and I want you to tell me what you think of this team's rebranding. I love the graphic.
The graphic is cool. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm excited to see what comes of it. Am I missing the writing? I can't see.
Well, it is the Memphis Steelhogs will be rebranding as the Memphis Warriors, which looks to be some sort of bird, maybe like a warhawk.
Yeah, and let me tell you, there are some. I mean, there are some solid. There's been some pretty good bird teams in all aspects. Bird mascots are pretty well received, so I like it. I like the intro video. I like the rebrand. I think it's always been a question on what a steel hog was. So I think this is nothing but a good rebrand.
Yeah, I think it's better. I love the colors. I do get a Washington Commanders vibe from this, but I think it's good. I think it's really good. Thank you, DB, for investing the time and effort into getting that done. I'm excited to see what it looks like for season 11. Looks like we lost Derek again. We'll see if he hops back in here. What is your biggest what if from the regular season? That's a good question. What if Scott Stover actually did something positive for the Lancers? Would the Lancers be looking at a playoff spot? Did they have the bones to do it in the first place? I wonder. Derek, I don't know if you heard any of that.
Nope.
I'm answering a what if question
from
Jack P. What's the biggest what if from this season? I'm sitting here talking about what if Scott Stover never left New Haven and actually had something positive to do for their team. Would they be in a different position than what they're in right now? That's my big what if.
I have to think about.
What if Hugo Zachary never got hurt?
I have a what if, because this was his season, correct? I mean, I think it goes back to a question. I mean, you could say, I mean, you have what ifs like, what if Hugo Zachary never got hurt? What if Boston never had to go to a fourth string running back? Like, where would their seating be? Because you mentioned it, what if Colin Pierce never hung up the coaching thing? Would that team be still the number one seed? You know, is it just continuing what was already going to happen?
Right. You know, did I get lucky and bail out at the right time? Because things seem ultra competitive right now.
That is true. That's a what if. What if Colin Pierce never hung up the clipboard? So there's that one too.
That's a good point. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that would be going on. Jack P would still be in Wyoming. Jack P would still be in Wyoming.
Maybe not. He probably would have been an expansion team, so who knows where he would have gone.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we would have probably had a different expansion. That opens up a lot of things. I also think you probably would not like our current playbook system as much. Knowing you and knowing everything that you put into it, having been on that team. So that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
There's that what if closes a lot of things because I think it changes up at least the makeup of the league as far as teams?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see if we can get one more question in tonight while we finish discussing this one. But, one of the main reasons why I stepped down as an owner was so that we could finish out season 10 and have just a reliable season for once. We've been really struggling to get it done, and I feel like this season has been really fun. It's been reliable. We've been able to knock our streams out week to week. Thank you, Zach, for all the effort that he's put in. But I feel like season 10 has been a big hit. We know I'm stepping down at the end of this season, but I feel like the league's in a really good place right now.
1 second.
So,
hold on. I've got a question. I got to see a question coming in.
Okay. Jack P says, "Oh, that is a great question in the chat from I can't read the name. Read the name, but the question says, "What in the hell happened to Ryan Roosevelt?"
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, clearly he's in Santa Fe, and he'll be in the locker room occasionally. But yeah, we're wondering it ourselves. I'm hoping he stayed off the meth. I don't really know. No, in all actuality, me and Colin ask him all the time, when you coming back to us? When's happening? We're trying to get him on the show. We're trying to get him to take a Risley's team. He says he's close, but
Zach Holdorf says, "Never heard of her." It's awesome. I don't know. I miss Ryan, and I miss his little nuances, like his big words that he uses when he's on here. Like, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Ryan Roosevelt. I miss that about him. We need to get him on here. If you miss Ryan Roosevelt, at him in the server and get his ass involved. We miss that guy. Don't you? Don't you miss what we started with in the WFA? Me and Ryan. Now it's me and Derek. What if it was me and Ryan and Derek? All three of us.
How it all started.
How much fun would we be having right now?
No, a lot.
You're right. Yep. You're right. What in the world happened to Ryan Roosevelt? I hope he gets off the meth and comes back home to us.
I need him to stay on for a few more games, okay? Gets him to run a little faster. It's our secret weapon.
Well, Derek, I don't see any more questions coming through, but I've really enjoyed this happy hour.
Absolutely.
Thanks for hopping on here with me. I will say that Thursday night will start week 1 of the playoffs. I am coordinating with Zach to try to host a Red Zone event on Thursday. So we are going to try to have 2 games at once with live broadcasting on Thursday night. That's the plan for right now. Derek, do you have any final comments before we sign off tonight?
Nope. This begins playoffs. Good luck to everyone. It's going to be a good weekend of games. I'm sure of it.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for tuning in. Let us know if you enjoyed the show in the Discord server, and maybe we'll get another episode to you in the next week or two. Like and subscribe to the WFA channel. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.